Welcome to Home Buying Made Easy, the podcast where we pull back the curtain on mortgages, real estate, and everything the big banks hope you never figure out. Michael Dendy is a licensed mortgage loan officer with Edge Home Finance, and I'm Rachel, co-host and producer of the show. Every episode, Michael and I break down the stuff that actually matters without the jargon. This show is designed for everyday people like you and I to learn the home buying process so you can buy smarter, save more, and stop leaving money on the table. Now let's dive into today's episode.
Welcome to another episode of Home Buying Made Easy. We are in the process of kind of answering a bunch of questions about real estate teams and what to do with your mortgage. And like everything we do here on Home Buying Made Easy is so that you can be better informed, educated, and not just go into this home buying process completely blind. So I do have Rachel with me today, and she's right over there because she's not right over here. She keeps claiming that she doesn't need to be on camera because it's a podcast, and like people listen to podcasts, they don't watch podcasts.
No.
But I put the podcast on YouTube too, so just so people could see it. They get to see me, but they don't get to see you.
I've said this previously.
Yes.
I have approximately
14 words?
Yeah. and a half, 14 and a half.
14 and a half words. Okay.
That I say in each episode.
Okay. So that's what it's about.
You're the star of the show.
Oh, I'm the star. Wow.
Yeah.
The star.
Yes.
I didn't know that was a thing, but okay.
Yes.
So, let's get started. What are we talking about today? There's so many things we could talk about.
Yeah. We've covered a lot already.
I know.
We have a lot of episodes out and we cover a lot of different topics. So today's topic is actually going to be about building the team that you want in your process. So building your real estate team and what that looks like. So,
okay.
Question number one.
Real estate team, you mean for a buyer?
Yes. So if I'm buying a house,
Gotcha.
What professionals do I need on my team in order to get to that finish line?
I gotcha. Okay. Cool.
That's the first question. What professionals do I need?
Oh, that was the question. Wow. I
ended with a question mark. It went right over your head.
It did. Okay. So you definitely need to get pre-approved with a mortgage loan officer because that's how you're going to find out what you can afford, what kind of payment you're going to be looking at. Like you really need to do that first. And that piece is designed to help you be well informed as far as what your payment's going to be. Let's say you've been renting for a long time and your rent is at, $2,000 or $2,500 or something like that per month. And you want to go into a mortgage and you're like, oh, you know what? I could probably get a house that's worth, that's this big and costs this much. And, I'll still get a $2,500 payment. And that's probably not true. So the main thing that you need to realize is that, your payment is going to be one of the key pieces to understanding what you can afford. A lot of times a loan officer or a realtor might try to push you into a higher purchase price or a higher bracket for purchasing. And it may be uncomfortable for your payment for what you want to do. Just because you can afford it doesn't mean that you should try to maximize the purchase power. So you need to make sure you have a good team member in a loan officer that's going to shoot straight with you, give you the numbers, tell you kind of what it looks like from a interest rate standpoint, and not only an interest rate standpoint, but a payment standpoint. And that payment is going to need to include principal, interest, taxes, insurance. Pretty much you need to see the whole picture. I just recently talked with a client of mine, and he's looking at certain properties that have an HOA. And these HOA fees are per month can get expensive.
Yeah.
And it took him, the HOA on this one property, the HOA took him out of the price bracket he wanted to be at. He was trying to keep it within a certain range. And by the HOA fees were several $100s per month, and it took him over that amount. So we had to back down and say, maybe we need to look at something, either something else or something a little less expensive, because we have to deal with the HOA.
Right.
That's definitely something to keep in mind, because that's not part of the mortgage, like the mortgage payment.
Mm-hmm.
It's separate, but it's a monthly fee.
Yeah.
That could get overwhelming really quick.
Yeah.
So the second, probably equally most important person on your team would be having the right real estate agent. Mm-hmm. And a real estate agent it's an important piece, because you're entrusting your future home to them as far as being an expert, understanding the market, understanding the area, making sure you're finding the right home, and they can look out for, or they should be looking out for, pitfalls, things that could be wrong with the house. When you're going through the house, they should be scanning and looking around going, okay, I do see some problems. They're not things that we would eliminate the house, but it's definitely something we need to keep in mind. So that's super important. Another thing that I've worked with a lot of realtors over the past several years, and there's some realtors that are completely honest and trustworthy and transparent. And then there's some other ones that are like trying to push. And what I mean by push is maybe you're wanting to be comfortable at this price bracket, and you don't want to go over, let's say, $400,000 or whatever. And the only thing they show you over and over again is this beautiful kitchen, but this beautiful kitchen is $500,000.
Yeah.
And maybe you could afford it. Maybe like on paper, you could afford it, but that's going to take that payment up too high. So you got to be careful when you're finding the right realtor. You need to ask a bunch of questions. We can actually send you a list of questions that you should ask when you're talking to a realtor. All you have to do is message me, and we'll be glad to, send you something on that. And you can ask these questions, and that'll help you in the interview process when you're trying to decide on a realtor. Another person that is involved in the process is your home inspector. A home inspector is super important. A lot of times, you may not know any home inspectors, and maybe your realtor would suggest a few options or something. But you want to do a little bit of background information and digging when you're looking at home inspectors to make sure they're not necessarily missing anything. Mm-hmm. Like you want somebody that's super detail oriented, but not going to automatically say, oh, this is the worst house ever. You should never buy this house. Their goal should be to be objective. And the objective is there's outlets in any house. We purchased several years ago, we purchased a brand new house. And when we purchased that house, there were outlets that didn't work in a brand new house. And my inspector caught them. Mm-hmm. Even though it was a brand new house and I should trust the builder, I went ahead and got an inspection because I wanted to make sure I knew everything about the house. So that's super important. Sometimes there's outlets that don't work. Well, an outlet not working might not be a deal breaker, so to speak. Hey, I'm not going to buy this house because it's got an outlet that's bad or whatever. Right. You want to definitely make sure that inspector is focused on the major appliances, the major systems, the HVAC, the heating, air, plumbing. Mm-hmm. Make sure. Obviously they're checking toilets and sinks and looking underneath. They're checking the dishwasher. They're checking the oven and the stove, and they're checking everything that needs to be checked. And you want to make sure that they give a fair assessment of those things. Right. They're going to give you, hopefully, they'll give you the label, the age, show you how old it is, show you, all of the eyes on the stove are all working, or the oven's heating properly, or, there's the upstairs heating unit is working well. We recently had a client that the upstairs unit wasn't working as well as it should have been. And that was an easy repair. Mm-hmm. And by fixing that, the inspector had caught it, and they were able to fix that ahead of the client's purchasing. So having a good home inspector is super important. Those are probably the major ones that I would focus on.
Yeah.
There's other people involved in the process. Do you want me to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. In the mortgage process, we have a mortgage team. So I have a pipeline manager, and Joshua is my pipeline manager. What that means is he oversees the ins and outs of the loan, making sure it's going smoothly through underwriting and stuff like that. Also have a processor, and the processor is the one that's collecting documents, going back and forth with clients and saying, hey, we're going to need to get this document or that document, or we're going to need to get a letter of explanation about something. And so that's a person. Another person is an underwriter. Everybody says, or not everybody, but a lot of people say they hate underwriters. I think underwriters are awesome only because they help us to see, like, to navigate the way through the process. So they know what's required from the lender and all of the correct documents to get in order, to stack together, to have a full file. And so if you've done your part on the front end, you don't have problems on the back end with the underwriters. And that's something I think our team does really well. We submit complete packages up front so that underwriters can see the whole picture. And there's not this, well, I wonder what's going on here, and then they ask for this many more documents because they're worried. The underwriter gets worried about it. So underwriter's one. Let's see. There's an appraiser. An appraiser goes out to give what their opinion of the value of the home is. So they're not just walking around and they go, hey, okay, yeah, this house looks like it's worth a couple $100,000. Like, they don't do that. They do a lot of research on the front side before they go out to the house, and on the back side after they have come back from inspecting the house. They measure all the rooms. They make sure everything's accurate as far as their numbers. And then they have software that they use to then turn and look at houses in the area that have sold over the past several months. And maybe it's in that particular neighborhood, or maybe it's in the, within a 1 mile radius or something like that. And then they put together a report, and they determine the value based on the houses that have sold around it recently. So it's not just some willy-nilly, oh yeah, I think it's worth this.
Right.
It is an opinion. So since it's an opinion, it is disputable, so to speak. So we can do with many different loan types, whether it's conventional or FHA or VA, there is a reconsideration of value process where you can push back and say, hey, I think you missed something, or I think, there's an error here. And the lender can then pursue the next steps in doing a reconsideration of value, if it makes sense. VA has a really cool process for that. And it allows for a lot of freedom to make adjustments when you feel like maybe there's an appraiser that didn't quite give the value that they should have, and or came in low, or something like that.
Right.
So that's appraisers. I think that's the main ones in the process. There's some other. There's a real estate agent on the other side, and some other people, but that's the biggest part of your team. The main two that you really need to know that you can trust are your loan officer and your realtor.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have plenty of realtor partners that we work with. Yes.
We have a lot of great realtor partners. So if you need somebody that can make sure that we work with that does a really good job, feel free to reach out, and we'll be glad to help them any way we can.
Yeah. So next question on this is
There's more questions? That was horrible.
Yeah. I mean, it was a long-winded answer. I mean, who do you need? And you named everybody you need. So
yeah, good point.
Next question is, how do you find a good professional? Obviously, you mentioned that we have that list of questions that you should be asking your real estate team, making sure, like, kind of vetting them before you start working with them. So is there any other ways to like find a good?
You can check in Facebook forums and things like that. But I mean, as with anything, I don't know if you've ever bought anything from Facebook Marketplace or one of these places like that. You don't know what you're going to get. Yeah. And it could, like, this is the biggest purchase of your life, and you're going to entrust it to somebody that you don't know.
Right.
So having a good idea of what those questions should be. You know what? As a matter of fact, there's several different, depending on who, like, if you're a veteran or a first-time home buyer, or maybe you're an investor, I've written several books on this. Like, we'll send you a book for free. Just message me. If you message me, send me a text or email. I'll be glad to get it to you. Like, no charge. I don't need to. I'm not out to make money on books. I just want to make sure people are educated. And those books do have some key questions for how you build a team, how you find a team,
right,
and find the right loan officer. I think somebody that is transparent and is upfront. Sometimes I'm brutally honest, like brutally honest. But I think that's important. The no nonsense approach is kind of how I go with it.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is making sure that you have enough information to make a wise decision. And, you know, when I started in this industry, I talk about this and people laugh, but like, I didn't even know who Fannie and Freddie were. Fannie and Freddie, I thought they were a brother and sister. Like, I didn't know, like, it was something different. That was like years and years ago. But there's all these mortgage words and these terms and real estate terms, and people don't know what they mean.
Yeah.
And so we try to ease the tension by providing information about not just those words, but how can I make it so that you can understand the process and not have all these big, huge words that make it confusing. Like, what is this and what is that? And so I have people ask me all the time. They'll get on the phone like, I'm really sorry I had to call you again. I'm sorry. I was like, there are no stupid questions.
Yeah.
Like the stupid question is the one you didn't ask.
Right.
You know, like if you didn't ask it, I promise you, everybody asks questions. Everybody's asked all kinds of questions.
Yeah.
You can ask them multiple times. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So I think it's important to have somebody that's patient that will walk you through the process too.
Yeah. Okay. Last question of today's episode. What's the one professional on the real estate team that most people overlook?
That they overlook?
Yeah, that they don't think about, or they're like, oh, like, whatever, we don't need that.
Out of what I just mentioned, I would say they don't upfront think about, like, the home inspector.
Yeah.
That's probably something that's like, why do I need that? Like, like, you need it.
Yeah.
I promise you need it.
I've been on my Instagram, reels will come up and it'll be inspectors of like new houses. Could be like a $2 million house, could be a $500,000 house, whatever. And it's like the inspector will just go and he has like a little, I don't know, screwdriver or something. And he's just like hitting it around different places, like not hard at all, but it's like things are crumbling because like the house builder just wasn't phenomenal. And like it proves that you need that house inspector to come in and be like, hey, the drain, like the shower is not sealed completely, it's leaking, or not draining the proper way, like whatever. So it's very important.
I would say that's probably the thing that people overlook. Another one that this happens to our team a lot. A person will reach out to a realtor and they'll start the process. The realtor will start sending them properties to look at, like just put them on a drip to start looking at properties. Okay. They start looking at properties and then they find the one
Oh, no.
They haven't done anything about getting pre-approved.
No.
They haven't even thought about a mortgage loan officer.
No.
And it doesn't work because then they're up for a letdown when, like, here's how it goes down. They go look, they say, oh yeah, we live in this place and we want to move to this place. And we think we can afford, let's say $600,000. We could afford $600,000. They haven't done any research.
Yeah.
They haven't done any pre-approval. They don't know anything about a $600,000 mortgage payment. And then they go, and so at that point, the realtor sends them the link to start looking at houses. They start looking at houses. The wife finds the perfect home with the perfect kitchen and the perfect master bedroom.
Yeah.
She's got to have this house. And so the realtor says, okay, well, did you do a pre-approval? Have you worked with it? Oh, no, we have to do that first. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have to do that first before we even go look at houses, right? You need to get pre-approved. At that point, they start the process with us. And then they find out on a $600,000 house that the payment is $500 more than what they really wanted to pay.
Right.
And now there's this big letdown because they didn't do the right process, you know?
Yeah.
All of our realtor partners, as soon as somebody calls them and says, hey, we want to look at houses, like we're going to move to the area, they'll ask some questions and some leading questions like, where are you moving from? Like they'll ask all that, what price range you want to be in and what, that kind of thing. Then they'll say, okay, well, the first step is you need to get with Michael and his team because they're going to let you know, like, here's what the pre-approval process is. Here's what you need. And they're going to kind of give you an estimate of here's the ballpark of what your payment's going to look like. Yeah. The reason they do that is so that you don't have payment shock, because payment shock is a real thing when you've been paying this amount and all of a sudden you're going to be paying this amount. Yeah. So that's something that is overlooked a lot, where they just won't do it until the last minute or till they find the house. And old school, that was the way they used to do it. So there's a lot of people that are older, my age and older, they're like, oh yeah, I'll fill that out once I find a house. Okay, it's not going to work well, but yeah, that's definitely something that gets overlooked a lot. Yeah.
Okay, that's what we got for today.
All right. So if you want more information about our realtor partners, or you want any of the books I was talking about, I got several of them back here, but anything that you want or need from us, if you have questions, want to find out more about transparency, we'll be glad to help any way we can. Shoot us a call, send us a text, give us a call. All of those things. All you have to do is reach out and we'll be glad to help. We'll see you next time.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Home Buying Made Easy. If you're ready to take your next step, our team is standing by. You can call or text us directly at 615-499-6335. You can also reach us at michael@dendyteam.com or check out the link in the show notes below. Whether you have one question or you're ready to go, we'll meet you right where you are. Thanks for joining us. From our team to you, let's make home buying easy.